Senator Paterson.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Minister representing the Treasurer, Senator Cormann. Can the Minister please update the Senate on what has happened to company tax revenues since the government legislated the first stage of its enterprise tax plan?
The Minister representing the Treasurer, Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I thank Senator Paterson for that very important question. This morning I released the Australian Government monthly financial statements for the 2017-18 financial year to the end of May 2018. What they show is that revenue from company tax this financial year has increased by another $1.1 billion since the most recent budget was released only last month. This means that since the Senate passed the first 3 years of our 10-year enterprise tax plan, revenue from company tax just for this financial year has increased by $9.2 billion. That's right. So at the 2016-17 half-yearly budget update, which was the first one after the 2016 election and the last one before the Senate passed the first 3 years of our 10-year enterprise tax plan, our business, the expectation then was that businesses would pay $78.6 billion in company tax revenue in 2017-18, based on the official numbers on actual revenue collections to the end of May 2018. 1 month out from the end of the 17-18 financial year, we are now expecting company tax revenue to come in at $87.8 billion. That's right, $9.2 billion more than estimated at the 2016-17 MYEFO. And of course, to the end of May 2018, these are actual numbers. What this demonstrates is the government's plan for a stronger economy, more jobs, and to repair the budget is working. The reason we're collecting more revenue is because of stronger growth, higher than assumed commodity prices, and strong multinational anti-avoidance measures and tax enforcement action.
Senator Cameron.
Lower taxes not only help Australian businesses to employ more workers, but more profitable businesses also pay more tax, which helps Australian families to get ahead, and it helps the government to fund the important and essential services Australians expect the government to provide.
Order on my left. Senator Paterson, a supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Minister, what impact are the government's reforms preventing multinational tax avoidance and profit shifting having on company tax paid in Australia?
Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr President. The Australian government is continuing to take strong action to ensure multinationals and all companies across Australia pay the right amount of tax. The evidence is that these measures are working. The establishment of a tax avoidance task force within the ATO, along with the ATO's cross-border compliance activities, has resulted in $2.7 billion being clawed back from multinational companies operating in Australia. The government's actions to broaden the scope of large multinationals being subject to the multinational anti-avoidance law and diverted profits tax has resulted in 44 taxpayers bringing their Australian-sourced sales back onshore, which the ATO expects will result in an additional $7 billion in income per annum being returned to the Australian taxpayers. In addition, approximately $461 million in additional GST has been paid in 17-18 as at the end of May 2018 as a result of some global entities restructuring in response to the multinational anti-avoidance legislation we passed. A total of 318 multinational companies are now under active order.
Has expired. Senator Paterson, a final supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. What would the impact be of increasing taxes on business?
Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Higher taxes on business will mean fewer jobs and lower wages. Higher taxes on business will mean fewer jobs and lower wages. Mr. Shorten stands for higher taxes, less investment, lower growth, fewer jobs, higher unemployment and lower wages. That is what they delivered when they were last in government, and that is what they want to inflict on the Australian people again. This government wants Australian families today and into the future to have the best possible opportunity to get ahead. That is why we want to ensure that the businesses that employ them have the best possible opportunity to be competitive, to be viable and to be profitable into the future, and that is why we stand for a lower, globally more competitive business tax rate. It is all about making sure that working families across Australia have the best possible opportunity to get ahead and to be successful.